Welcome to another Freshman Toolbox lesson. Today's episode is textbook literacy. Why textbook literacy? We're in high school. We can read. Well, every year I get a new group of excited ninth graders. They're full of ideas. They're ready for a challenge. And I hand out textbooks and students often dig in and start exploring. Then after a few weeks of class, those same students look worn out or confused. Some are frustrated, and maybe some have even stopped reading the book altogether. We're here to stop that. So as I already mentioned, reading does not equal literacy, and what literacy looks like is different in each field. In English, say you're reading a novel and many ideas flow into one big picture. There will be imagery along the way. I think of this as the flowery descriptive language that paints an image in your mind. In math, there are symbols you need to understand to be literate. As you read, you just can't skip a symbol the way you might skip a word in a novel and still get the big picture. There's also an emphasis on order, like the order of operations. I still remember you learning, "Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally," in my math classes. In science, parts build into a whole. There's a foundation of knowledge that other ideas build on, and other forms of hierarchy. For example, parts building into others, like cells building into tissues and tissues into organs. Other parts include smaller groups, like the eukaryotic domain of life includes plants, animals, fungi, and protists. In every subject, details support the whole, but in different ways, and a savvy student will tackle each subject accordingly. So here are 5 tips that might help you be less frustrated and more savvy. First, skim the text. That means using headers, images, and big ideas at the beginning or end of sections to find the general flow of ideas. Second, talk through the ideas with a pet, a parent, an empty room, a sibling, a goldfish, or imagine you're talking to the author. Verbalizing ensures you don't zone out during your skimming. Now, read the text, but don't take notes. Notes now will be too detailed, and you likely don't know enough yet to know what's meaningful enough to write down in the first place. Notes will also stop your reading, possibly before you reach the real point of a paragraph. But do stop to write questions as they pop into your head. Next, let the images in the book help you build your ideas into bigger concepts. Maybe sketch some of them out. Let them help you fit the smaller pieces into the larger whole. And finally, now you take notes. Use your own words to keep your brain engaged, and consider using pictures, color, underlining, symbols, and/or bullets to emphasize vocabulary or big ideas. Maybe the best advice I can give to you for all of freshman year is just to allow yourself time. I found a resource from Cornell where they advise their students, their college students, to take their textbooks reading 5 to 10 pages at a time, figure about 5 minutes per page to do the work that it actually takes to understand the text, and that means you're going to figure an hour and a half to 2 hours for a typical biology chapter. The thing is, I don't even want to do that in one sitting. So the big thing you have to allow is enough time that you can spread that work out. A textbook, especially for me, a biology textbook, can be really, really interesting. But probably at max, I'm going to want to sit there for 30 to 45 minutes. If I really get creative with my notes, it might keep me engaged a little bit longer. But everybody's going to be different, and you have to find what works for you. So that's my last best piece of advice. Do what works for you. Give yourself the time.